Yo, it's Guido coming at you with a tactics talk. I have a replay analysis for you with NiteDog, who sent me another replay. Initially, I was going to just jot down a few things that I saw in the replay, but as I was watching it, I realized that there's probably something that a lot of people could use here, or several somethings. NiteDog has been working on his leading the charge kind of thing, so he has been a very cautious player for the most part, usually in the second line. And he will push and get up front, but it's not necessarily his first choice. So he's running his IS-3, which he does a pretty good job with. And he's going to attempt to be a little bit more aggressive. He has showed up here on highway. He's top tier on a 3.57, which is a great setup, great matchmaker to practice a little bit of leading from the front, because there's not too many super punishing tanks that are going to hammer him. So he should be able to have his way more or less if he does it right up here. There are a few threats. The T-34, obviously, the super with some gold is going to be a problem. He'll have issues punching through the super, going to have to go for weak spots and such, and there is a couple pieces of arty, or there are a couple pieces of arty. On highway, you can see that he's moved down to the southeast. That's a pretty typical spot for the heavies. You have some TDs and lights and mediums and such up here in the northwest fighting for the field, and then the various campers which you will find on every team. As he moves to the southeast corner, he's going to get lit, and that's a bit of a bummer, because one of the things you want to do here is make a decision on where you want to get to. Okay, your initial position within this southeast. It is better if they don't know that you're coming, because one of the spots you can get to is this corner over here behind this big hangar looking thing, but you've got to cross this open channel right here. Okay, that open road right there, and people want to sit back here in all these areas here and snipe anybody coming across. If you're lit, they know you're coming. It's better if you simply appear there. You might actually scoot across without being seen. In addition to that, they need to be fairly fast to get there, although the IS-3 is not very zippy. Even the T-34 can probably get somewhere in this general area, provided he's coming down this road to get a shot on you. So he's lit. That's going to limit his possibilities a little bit. For me, if I got there and was lit, I might rethink trying to cross. So let's take a look at where his buddies are going. We've got a 131 still droning around there. We've got some guys getting hit because they have exposed themselves. What you've got are some snipers sitting up on this hill here, TDs and mediums and such, hitting these guys in the side because they're like moths to flame. They see that red guy and they try to pop up over this little ridge and take shots, or these guys are high enough they can simply just shoot into the side. If you're coming up to this city, come up along the bottom south edge of the red line here. Don't bother getting up in here, or you're going to end up like those guys with extra hits. So I talked about this is one of the initial positions. Another place you can go to is you can cross here through this courtyard where NiteDog's going through, cross over and then start working the guys in the corner, or potentially push into this middle area. The danger there is if you get across and you don't have any support, they can poke around this corner and hit you. They can come through here and hit you. It's kind of problematic. If you get a couple tanks crossing, looks like the 34-3 is at least holding the corner. But if you get some tanks crossing, you've got a couple up in the back here by this courtyard, then pushing in here is a good aggressive initial position. NiteDog's not going to push across, so he's going to choose to fight out of this courtyard. And that's not a bad decision either. It's a little bit more careful, and it allows you to see what they are going to do, because despite our guys getting hit in the side quite a bit, there is no SA on what heavies are coming this way. The T-71 is down in the river bottom doing I don't know what. So the T-29 goes across, and he lights up the, where'd it go? 131. Okay, so the 131 Tiger is right there. And NiteDog is working a side scrape. He kind of looks over there. Now let's talk a little bit about camera technique here for NiteDog. He is looking around a little bit, but I would actually be zoomed out, and this may be fully zoomed out at this point what he's looking at. But while I'm maneuvering, I would actually look over here and kind of see where exactly is that 131. And one thing I'll do is something like this, where I'll lift the camera up and go, all right, if I come around that corner, can I actually hit him? And it looks like I probably can. So that is an option right there, potentially, taking a shot on that guy. And that just gives you a little SA on what his actual positioning is, instead of just looking at the mini-map, which is kind of, you can see that the symbol's quite large. You're not exactly sure where he is in relationship to the walls. So NiteDog kind of points out there. And right here I would say, NiteDog, if you were going to try to go out there and take that shot, push out and take the shot. Sticking your front out just enough to get spotted by somebody only serves to let them know that you're there. Although I am not really suggesting you point yourself or you poke yourself out there right now, because earlier I said people like to snipe here, right? I'm a sniper. I'm a big sniper guy, man. Yeah, sniper, sniper. I'm going to sit back on this hill, woohoo! And they like to shoot down this road as people cross. So if you poke your side out right there, you can expect to get hit, especially this early with this many guns. And remember, there is some arty. Plus you are lit, so they know you're somewhere in that area. Let's take a look at how this is developing. You got the T-29, Eau Grande Canyons has gone in there. Looks like he's got the WZ-131 kind of trapped. I assume he's doing some side scraping there. It's hard to tell by this angle what he's doing. But there's not a lot of other tanks lit, so it's probably not time to get too crazy. But I would think, be keeping in the back of my mind, in my hip pocket, that I may be able to get up there and do a little damage with this T-29, work together with that guy. And my backup is starting to appear. So you come around and you're just really serving to let them see you. See, you got spotted. Taking a look a little bit there. T-29 gets hammered. Still not a lot of good SA on what's going on here. But he does have that WZ nearly dead. Here comes the Indian up a little bit. Pause this again. Behind you is the T-34-3. And while you're maneuvering around, you're in third person, and that's good, but lock that turret forward and just take some quick looks and find out where your friends are. What do they look like they're doing? Looks to me like he's sitting on the corner. Unknown, the Panzer's over in that other courtyard hanging out, and then M6 is pretty much going to be useless. So at this point, I can probably count on the 34-3 to shoot guys coming around the corners over there. I don't have any good SA on what this Indian Panzer's intention is, but the T-29 is certainly up front and fighting. Those are the things that I know about my team right now. The skirmish is going on down the bottom. Okay, so NiteDog decides to come across and potentially get over towards the T-29. About the exact time he pushes, he finds out, holy cow, there's a lot of guys in here. The O1's actually here, the Tiger's here, the T-34, and you could have probably inferred that based on where tanks usually go, but here's the confirmation. They are all around you now. And you went across, I would have probably shot at that T-30 or Tiger 131 as I crossed. Just take that snapshot and see what happens. And we keep going, and oh my goodness, there's the T-34. And that's what I'm talking about. T-34, I'm a sniper, yay, wait for someone to come across, and by goodness, he surely did it. NiteDog pulls in here, he's ready. Oh, he hits that thing. Maybe a little bit over-angled right there. And now the T-29 is sitting there. Oh yeah, see, now you do this a couple times while you're maneuvering and backing and kind of looking around. You're going to shift your tank and then back out and give a really good angle to that 131. You do this several times. Not a bad idea. Come in here, let that guy have it. There we go. All right, excellent. Now he's moving up. T-29's fighting a 150. Okay, at this point right here, after I shot that 131, more than likely he's going to continue to hide behind that train right there, and I doubt I'm going to get a shot. Which means I either have to side scrape out further and look for the T-34, or I think a better idea, go help that T-29. Get rid of that T-150 right there. It is always better to have two guns shooting at one guy than one gun. That 131's not doing anything. You've got the Indian Panzer. It's going to take him a while to get around behind you. Oh, there we go. There's the T-34. Maybe I can hit him. WZ can see you, so he's kind of paying attention to what's going on. Oh, there's a Dicker Max. A little bit patient here. You're going to get damage on him. Jumping up, and your T-29 is getting kind of torn up. And here comes the T-34. So in the time that it would have took for you to get around there and help your T-29, he's got hammered. The T-150 is still alive, and now the T-34 there is there to back him up. I would have definitely gone and helped him. There's a T-34 coming in. Okay, he fired. Good job. Come on in there and get that shot on him. Good job checking 6. Worried about those guys there, I would be too, because your Indian has kind of run away. So now your left side and your right side are exposed. T-34 seems to be going around the other way, and the T-150 is looking to get after. Oh, and there's another example of what I'm talking about. You sort of just turn your rear end out around the corner there and they pop you. There we go. Okay, so the T-150 just fired. The T-34 went around that corner. Nobody has showed up over there, and you're in danger of being attacked on two sides. So what I would have done here is pick the direction. Push in and take out the T-150 and maybe try to fight off the T-34 if he turns around and comes after you. Or even after you just fired that T-150, back up, turn right, and go that way. And isolate the threat in front of you so that you don't have two directions. Now they could go all the way back around this corner over here, behind you, over here, but it would take them a long time and you would probably see them start heading that way. And if they did, then you could actually go around the corner yourself and start taking them on, although that does expose you to artillery right there. If they don't and you're over here, then that puts them all in front of you and you don't get in danger of being surrounded, because that is fully what they intend. Don't forget that 150's there. You spend a lot of time doing this right here. Okay, so now I'm going to talk a little bit more about camera technique while you're fighting multiple enemies. Get out into third person as much as possible. You need to be checking your six. I think you just noticed this guy coming, but you may have had SA on him earlier, but you definitely need to be looking around. There you go, you see him, here he comes. A little over angled, but you got away with it. He shoots regular AP, so that doesn't help him. And now they're all over you. A little bit unlucky. Yeah, don't let them push you out behind there, because there's people trying to get up behind you. Here comes that T-34. Alright, little AP through there. Oh geez. And you end up getting killed by the T-34. So you can see now you got surrounded, right? Had you gone over to this area right here, you'd have been able to fight both of them forwards and perhaps survived a little bit longer. The other thing you might want to take a look at is, it looks like the 34-3 finally actually did something. Just awful, him sitting back there and really doing not a whole bunch of anything. Another option when this super came at you and you knew the 34s come behind you would be to push into the 150. But that would have let them both start shooting their guns at you. So I think your best bet, like I said, was go over here so you didn't get surrounded like that. T-34s coming in there as well. All right, they'll end up winning this game, and NiteDog doesn't have a bad game, but it's a pretty good example of trying to fight on two different axes. A little bit about positioning in a heavy, a little bit about getting out front and trying to be the spearhead right there. You weren't helped too much by this 100% T-34-3 that's just sort of sitting in the back. But overall, not a bad game. Ended up winning it. You did your job as far as you got in there and you mixed it up with the heavies. Obviously, it would have been nicer to be alive and still dishing out damage right there. So I hope this helps. If you guys like what you saw, make sure you subscribe, and we will see you.